So if you have a lot of projects going on, whether they're out on the table or if they're bits and pieces here and there, it's very hard for someone to jump in there and help out.
Parenthood is challenging enough as it is, and getting organized sounds easier said than done. Now, combine these two together, and it's truly a balancing act that many of us struggle with day in, day out. If you're here, it's because you want to know how to get your life and home more organized and structured where the kids are involved too, so that parent life is a little easier and you can focus on what truly matters. Hey there, I'm Dianne 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗏, owner and founder of One Tidy Place. I created this podcast because I know parents have their hands full. I know this because I have 3 kids of my own. Each week, we'll talk about all things organizing, teaching kids life skills, and contributing to the home, being on the same page with your partner, and raising your kids together while you tidy up, go out for a walk, or just need some real talk. I'm here for you. Thank you for tuning in. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Parenting Guide Organizing Habits Made Easy podcast. You're listening to episode number 52. And today's episode is basically answering, am I making it easy or too hard for my family to help out with maintaining the house? So this episode was inspired by just listening to clients and friends and family about problems or issues and challenges they're having with getting help at home. So oftentimes when I'm listening to being part of the conversations, because it happens to myself too, I get it. We feel that no one hears us when we want help at home, but it's possible that it's actually us that has to kind of maybe like take a step back and really give others the chance to help out. So this is what I'll be covering in today's episode. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1, am I making it easy or difficult for my family to help out at home? So the first thing is to look within yourself and check if you're always on autopilot, meaning that you're just doing everything. So an example that I think about is being a helicopter parent. Now, we've heard this term before, and I've caught myself being this at one point or another when our kids were a lot younger, when they were toddlers, and trying to explore their world around them, that we tend to sometimes helicopter our kids, make sure that they don't bump into that, or they don't touch this, or make sure they're within a safe bubble of not injuring, hurting themselves, or not disturbing or breaking things around them. So we're constantly just hovering over them and fixing and doing and tugging and just modifying their path so that everything is okay, that they're safe and that they're doing whatever it is that they need to do, and everything runs smoothly. So that's what being kind of like an autopilot person is. You want to make sure that everything runs smoothly in the house, so you are picking up all the clothes. If things are left behind, the kids move on to the next room because they went to get like another pencil or a sweater or something. You're right there behind them, just tidying things up, closing all the books, and just basically doing everything for them and not allowing them to do it themselves. So that kind of like develops that habit for both yourself and for them, that you are always going to be there to pick up, to clean up, to fix. And unfortunately, it doesn't help them in their development and doesn't help them to be a little bit more independent, to discover and to try things on their own. So my suggestion too is to kind of slow down and stop before we do any of that, to allow them to come back and see their mess or see the room the way it is in disarray, and to actually observe with them. So for myself, I find it hard to sometimes not pick up after them, but rather them do it. So an exercise that I practice is I'll take my kids, or one of them, depending who's with me, and I will step back and then have them stand beside me and say, look at this room before you leave to go to your jujitsu class or, head out to bed? Is there something here that belongs to you or that's not supposed to be part of this room so that it can go back to a normal state, into a place that other people can sit down and enjoy this space? So I kind of wanted to help them be more aware of their surroundings, of what they do and how they leave things. So if you tend to be kind of like an autopilot parent, someone who is always picking up and cleaning up after the kids or your spouse, try to stop, step back, and almost like if you have to put your hands in your pockets, do that before taking action and allow your family to have that moment of realization and awareness. Even if you have to point it out in an open-ended way, kind of like, is there anything here that doesn't belong here? Or these books have been out on this coffee table or on the kitchen table for X days. Does this belong to anyone? And could it be put away so that we can, set up the table for the next meal? Okay. Number 2, about, are you making it easy or very hard for them to help out at home? And that is, are you doing too much all the time? So this kind of goes hand in hand with the other one where you're on autopilot, but it's a little bit more than that, with a little more oomph or juice in there. And what I mean by this is that you're doing too much all the time. So picture cleaning up after the kids. You're taking care of supper at the same time. You're doing homework with the other kid. You've got the laundry running and you're folding. And you're trying to put clean laundry away. Texting a friend just to give them the last instructions on whatever recipe that they asked about hours ago. So there's a lot of things going on up here in your brain, and there's a lot of things going on around you at the same time. Now that I'm laying it out, it sounds like a lot because it is. So my advice here is to slow down. Now, another example is a story that relates to this a lot. And it's like when you're hosting at home. You've got the dinner that's happening. You want to set the table. You want to make sure the guests are okay. So you're pouring their drinks. You're making sure that there's dried towels in the bathroom because someone was asking, or there's no toilet paper. So you're going downstairs or in another room to replenish the toilet paper in the bathroom. You're answering questions to your children and you're getting the glasses that someone needs because they can't reach. So you're basically doing everything. You don't even have a chance to breathe and take in the environment, the gathering and the get together with your friends. It's almost like you don't get the chance to enjoy, and just let it all sink in. You're just doing everything. And on the other side of that, when your guests are visiting you and they're there to see you and obviously, want to spend time with you, they don't have that window or that opportunity to do that because you're so busy. They want to help, but they don't want to necessarily be in the way. Okay, nobody wants that. And they probably also think that you've got this all figured out, right? And you're good. So, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's not necessarily a great situation to be in when you've just got everything going on all at the same time. You're kind of like depriving yourself or like stealing away that chance for you to be in the present moment and taking advantage of the gathering and the people around you. Okay? So I suggest, again, for this one, is just slow down, take a breath, then delegate. And when it comes to delegating, I know it's more complicated than it sounds, but if you can just let other people in just a little bit to help out, that would be a big bonus, a big plus into making it easy for others to help you out. And when it comes to delegating, you want to be specific with your instructions. So an example of this is getting supper ready. You delegate setting the table, or you could just say, what are the things we need on the table so that we're ready to eat? So that kind of paints a better picture But it's important that you do delegate so that not everything falls on you once again, and you're not being weighed down with all the things that needs to get done and stressing out because you feel that other people are just waiting for you, or you feel that everything has to fall on you. It truly doesn't. So that's why delegating is huge and it's important. Now, number 3, are you making it easy or hard for your family to help you out? And that is having a lot of things to maintain. Now, it kind of sounds like the previous example where you're doing everything all at once. It's kind of like that, but it's actually not. It has to do with the things in your home, meaning there's a lot of things that you're probably keeping. It's like little mini projects all over the place that you still want to do and have your hands on and have control over. So if this is the situation, maybe reduce the amount of projects that you have going on that are kind of like in limbo or they're waiting for your action. So oftentimes when there's a lot of things all over the place and there's a lot of unfinished projects, the rest of the family is not sure where things can go or if they're allowed to touch them because they don't want to screw up your system, your rhythm, and your groove that you're in because they just don't want to slow you down, right? So if you have a lot of projects going on, whether they're out on the table or if they're bits and pieces here and there, it's very hard for someone to jump in there and help out unless you involve them, include them, delegate, and let them be part of finishing these projects, right? Now, I know, and it's highly possible that these projects are not our own, but they belong to maybe our spouse or our children, right? I'm not necessarily saying that this is just a you thing, but it could be a family thing. That's either one person or many people that have multiple projects. So it just makes things a lot complicating, basically, when there's a lot of little open projects waiting to be closed out or waiting to be put away. Okay, I hope I'm clear when I'm explaining this, that when there's a lot of things that are just open-ended, it's hard for someone to jump in and say, okay, can I help you? Because they just don't want to mess things up for you. So a great example of this is a story about decluttering. I've decluttered many homes where a lot of toys are involved, and specifically for toy organization, it can get very overwhelming because you'll always find little bits and pieces here and there, and you're never sure what these specific pieces are, and for what toy, or for what board game, or for whatever piece of arts and crafts it could be in. So it can get overwhelming because you're not sure, or the client is not sure of where this goes. So they'll just keep everything. And then looking for that specific board game or that doll accessory of where this thing goes, it's a lot of work. So imagine having multiple pieces of toys that you're not even sure where they belong, and then having to maintain that all the time, every day. It's very hard and it's a lot of work. So just to recap about asking the question, am I making it difficult or easy for my family to help me out or to help out at home? You got to ask yourself and look, are you always on autopilot? Are you doing everything for everyone all the time? Are you cleaning up after them? Number 2, are you doing too much? Are you doing everything for everyone and have a lot of things going on that nobody knows when to jump in, if they can jump in, and if it's safe even to jump in? And number 3 is that if there's a lot of little projects going on all over the place, that people are afraid to even just disturb it. So they don't even offer to help because they just, they don't want to be in your way. So all of this basically is for us to slow down, to take a step back and see where our processes need to be closed up, delegated, give specific instructions to our family to help us out, give that opportunity for them to grow and to discover things. So sometimes to just back off ourselves and not take over, right? So yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that it helped you in any way that will make your home organizing and your life just a little bit easier, and to also get that help that you need so that your home projects and the way the things run in your home are a lot more smooth and the projects are easier to maintain. So my call to action for you today is you're going to want to download the cheat sheet PDF on how to get the kids to help and tidy up at home. So you can head to diannejimenez.com/52, or you can grab it in the show notes in today's episode. So grab that right now, and I hope it helps. Thank you once again for listening and tuning in. I will see you again next week. Have a great day and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.